Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding yesterday's White House press briefing, where reporters are still questioning Karine Jean-Pierre and the Biden administration on what the heck is going on with these negotiations on raising the debt ceiling, as well as figuring out the budget. We got it all covered for you today, folks. Before we jump into any of this, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day for the comment section: do you think they're going to be able to figure this out by the deadline, or do you think we're going to default on this bad boy? Let us know in the comment section below. The first reporter of the day is, I believe, from CBS News, questioning Karine Jean-Pierre on what's going to happen. What should Americans expect if the day comes and we don't raise the debt ceiling and we default on stuff? Here's her response.
Thank you, Karine. Can you help Americans understand what will practically happen on X day? There will still be money left. What is the rate of the cash flow, and where will the money be prioritized? Whether it's Medicaid checks, Social Security checks, what happens on that day?
So, as I've said,
let's just pause real quick. Let's just pause for the listeners and the viewers. Do you guys think she knows what the hell is going on? Do you think she's going to be able to answer this in fine detail? I don't think so. I don't think so either. We're all in the same boat here. We all know how this one's going to roll, but let's hear the cockamamie rambling. Let's hear it.
look, that's not the as you speak to prioritization. That is not the plan. It is a recipe for economic catastrophe. It would throw the economy into chaos. So just want to be really clear about this. The Secretary of Treasury said, and has said this as well, that prioritization is effectively a default. Stephen Munchkin said, and I quote, "That doesn't make sense. The government should honor all of its obligations and the debt limit should be raised." Jack Lew, "I think prioritization is just default by another name." Timothy Geithner, "Prioritization is unworkable, harmful, and the world would recognize it as a first ever failure by the United States to meet its commitment. The only way to avoid this kind of economic disaster is for Congress to do its job. It's for Congress to act, to prevent default, and that's going to be our focus at this time."
The question was, Karine, you get paid a lot of money to stand there and answer questions that were never asked to you. You get paid a lot of money, but the question was, again, how can you detail this out for Americans on what things are going to look like, what's going to be prioritized, where's the money going to go, because there's a little bit left over, and you dodged the whole thing. You dodged the whole question, and somehow you came up with some cockamamie question in your mind, and you answered that one.
I hear that, but I think a lot of Americans don't understand what's going to happen practically. Can you help us understand that?
So look, here's the thing. This is why we have said would be catastrophic to our economy if there is a default. We've been very clear. We've laid out what could potentially happen. Remember, this would be our first ever default. If it were to happen, we're going to do everything that we can to avoid this. That's why we've been asking for Congress.
Hold on. Stop it. You're not going to do everything you can. It's so amazing how she gets away with this stuff. Just yesterday, you were talking about how you weren't gonna negotiate at all. That there should be no conditions on this bad boy, that you should just raise the debt ceiling and we continue just to spend trillions of dollars and drive ourselves right into the ground. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. So don't tell me you're doing everything you can. The president just started meeting them on this whole thing like last week, and the guy's still traveling around. He wasn't even willing to take a phone call while he's in Japan. Sure, he came back a day early, but that was pressure from the GOP and just the American public for him to get his booty back there and figure this whole thing out. Kamala Harris was in Los Angeles doing whatever the hell knows what she's doing over there while this whole thing was taking place. Folks, he's going to Camp David. He's traveling other places. He's not taking this serious. Come on. You're not doing everything you can. It's the same thing they say about the border wall. We're doing everything we can. All the while, it's just like open borders, just millions of people pouring across, just having free range on America. It's insane. It's insane.
To act, but a couple of things that this would lead to. It would wipe out millions of jobs, up to 8 million jobs. It would trigger a recession. It would devastate retirement accounts. It would increase costs. It would damage our international reputation. This is what could potentially happen if we default. Again, we are not a deadbeat nation. That's what the president has said. We have been able to pay our debts since 1960. We did it 78 times. So, and that's just one part of what could happen. The other part that what could happen too is we could see the gains that we have made these last 2 years under this president. When you think about 12.7 million jobs, that could be gone. When you think about unemployment rate at the lowest, at one of the lowest that we have seen, 3.4%, that could hurt that. The manufacturing boom, the 80,000 new jobs that we were able to create, manufacturing jobs, that could be gone. The $1.7 trillion of deficit that the president was able to do the first 2 years, a record, that could be all gone. So that is what's at stake, and we believe the American people understand that, and so we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that that doesn't happen.
And just one more.
She'll continue here in just one moment. The logic here is, it really is insane, you guys. Because we've done something 78 times, that gives good reason for us to continually do the same thing. Like, just think about that. Like, you can move that in any avenue of your life. When you make a stupid decision and you keep doing something stupid, and your rationale for you to keep doing something stupid is because you just kept doing it this entire time. I've done it 78 times. It's a good idea to just keep doing that stupid thing. That's her logic. And it's been like that with like Supreme Court cases. Oh, well, it's been precedents before. Like, well, it's been law for 50 years. We might as well just keep rolling with it. There was a lot of things in the Supreme Court that they ruled on that was there that shouldn't have been there. It's such a weird way of thinking, and she just gets away with it. Like, nobody questions her on that whole idea. Like, lady, what are you talking about? It's a terrible thing to keep raising the debt ceiling. We're $32 trillion in debt. She can't fathom that. Well, Congress needs to do their job. True, the president needs to do his damn job, but, we can't talk about that.
On the negotiations, McCarthy has made very clear what Republicans are asking for. The White House has made clear where President Biden is willing to meet them halfway. But what concessions are the White House trying to get in this deal? In other words, what are you going to get out of this deal other than raising the debt ceiling?
So look, a couple of things, and I think I said this yesterday, the president said this on Sunday, certainly not going to negotiate from here, but I'll lay out a couple of things that the president has been very clear.
Thank God.
We put forward a proposal that cuts spending by more than $1 trillion. That's on top of what the president put in his budget on March 9th, which is a $3 trillion cut in deficit over 10 years. And the president has made clear that he and congressional.
Wow, $3 trillion over 10 years, you guys. Make sure you give him a pat on the back. Everybody get out a piece of paper, write a note card to Joe Biden, tell him how thankful you are. Over 10 years, he's cutting $3 trillion on a $32 trillion debt. No, that's great. You're really going to pay that down. You're really going to pay that one down quick.
Democrats cannot support devastating cuts that would slash law enforcement, education, and food assistance. So we've been very clear on those pieces. We've said this over and over again. Just not going to get into specifics from here beyond what the president laid out on Sunday.
Thank you.
It really is remarkable. I know we say this every single time, you guys, but it's important to see the messaging and the lies that's constantly happening from this administration, because there's people that do call it out, but really there's not that many channels that actually go through specific highlights and call out the BS that's coming out of this administration. He's doing everything he can. Oh, it's a productive meeting. Well, how is it productive if you're sitting there ripping the GOP a new one every time you stand on the podium? And that leads us into our next segment of the day, because when she started the press briefing, she literally ripped the GOP. She had like Matt Gaetz' name up there and a bunch of other Republicans, the MAGA wing of the party, the extremists, the threats to democracy. They're going to end the country. The January 6thists, whatever the hell you want to call them, right? All this knucklehead stuff. Look, she ripped them a new one. All the while during the same White House press briefing, she's saying, well, it's productive. Oh, well, we think they're acting in good faith. She did the same line of answers yesterday when you had Jackie Heinrich of Fox News questioning her, saying, well, how can you say that they're acting in good faith and that the meeting's productive and negotiations are productive, but yet you have leaders of the Democrat Party ripping them a new one, like saying that they're extremists and MAGA Republicans and all these other things that we just got done mentioning. Like, how does that make sense? And somehow she twisted it and fumbled it for her in her crazy mind that it made sense to her, but nobody else. So we have another reporter here questioning her on the very same thing that Jackie Heinrich questioned her on, but I think this report is a lot more clear in the question. Let's go ahead and roll it.
You just said repeatedly that you thought that talks had been productive, but you also opened the briefing by putting some House Republicans on blast that you put up on the screen. So how have talks been productive?
So look,
Thank you. Watch this.
I just laid out the facts. That's all. What I did was lay out the facts that I've been talking about and highlighting for the past several months. And I think it's always important to do that. I think it's always important when I'm in front of you all and when I'm talking to the.
How slimy is this lady, man? Like, how slimy is this lady? If you want to see the swamp, you're looking at the screen right now. Well, you know, I'll tell you what I did. It's like, you're sitting there contradicting yourself and you don't care at all. Like, you don't know. Nobody probably told you to go up and do that. You probably came up with that yourself. Like, let's rip them a new one. And then we're going to tell them, like, the peace, it's all negotiated and it's all peaceful and it's productive and all these other things. But screw those guys, right? Those MAGA extremists, those bigots, those racists. It's like, it's so silly. It's so silly. And people buy into this. Like, 25% of the country are just listening. They're drooling out the mouth like, oh my God, she's so right. She is just so right.
American people for them to know exactly what's happening. And that's what I did. Now, are the talks productive? Yes. We believe that the negotiations, the budget negotiations that have been happening continue to be productive. But at the same time, I think it's important to lay out the facts for the American people as they are wondering and curious about what is happening right here in Washington, D.C.
What is the
Green, we don't need to wonder what's happening in Washington, D.C. We can all see it for our own eyes. We can all see what's going on. You're lying to us. You're gaslighting us. You're not running the country efficiently. You sat there and restructured the definition of what a recession was, but then you say, hey, you know, if we default on our debt, we're going to run into a recession. You'll probably just, again, rearrange the words a little bit, manipulate it in some way, shape, or form that we're not in a recession, even though the freaking economy's tanking. No, yeah, you know, explain to us what we need to see, Karine, really.
progress, the specific progress that's been made?
I'm not going to get into specifics about what's being discussed in these negotiations. We're going to give the negotiators some space, as we've been saying, to negotiate, to have a discussion, to have a conversation. We have been very clear. Yes, are there areas of disagreement? Absolutely, which is what negotiations are all about. We're moving in good faith, having those conversations in good faith, and we believe it's a path forward to get to, again, that bipartisan, reasonable budget agreement, because that is what is needed for it to actually move out of the House and move out of the Senate into the desk of the president.
And then lastly, on that point, June 1st, just around the corner, does the White House believe that it will have the money to keep paying the United States' bills beyond June 1st? Would it be a day, 2 days, how long?
So look, any specifics on the X date and what that's going to look like post X date, that's something that the Treasury Department is going to answer, or that's something that they're going to look at. I'm not going to speak from that from here. What I can tell you is our focus is to avoid that. Our focus is to give the negotiators some space to continue to have this conversation, to continue to come to an agreement that is bipartisan, that can get out of the House, get out of the Senate, and get to the president's desk so he can sign it. And that's going to be our focus right now.
Yeah, no, you're laser focused, Karine. You guys are so laser focused. Can somebody, for the love of God, you guys, can anybody, Neil, Shib, you know, Jennifer, anybody in the chat that we always see, you know, Music Junkie, I know all your names. Somebody, for the love of God, explain to me how you negotiate when you don't think there should be any conditions on raising the debt ceiling. How are you negotiating? That is the message from them for like the last 100 days. Oh, we just think it should just get passed through. No conditions. They've done it 78 times. We're not going to budge on it. We're not even going to do anything. Then what possibly is going on in the negotiations? Because I'm more inclined to believe Kevin McCarthy right now, not just because he's a Republican, but just the fact of what they're saying and just using my head going like, well, if they're not going to negotiate, if they're not going to have any conditions on this, then of course, just naturally through common sense, you're going to be really far apart. Like you're not even going to be close to a deal. And that's supposedly what's actually happening here. Joe Biden's nowhere near a deal with Kevin McCarthy and the GOP. Folks, time is running out. Time is running out big time. But, you know, hey, you got Joe Biden. He's laser focused. He's going to figure this out. He's going to figure this out in the same way they figure out the border, folks. He's not going to do it one bit. Well, moving into our last segment of the day, we got Wonder Woman again, folks. We got Jackie Heinrich of Fox News questioning Karine Jean-Pierre again on raising the debt limit. We're going to pick apart what she says, as always. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and roll it.
One off topic first. What do you all make of Hillary Clinton defending Dianne Feinstein over questions about her age, but not defending President Biden for the same questions about his age?
So I have not heard these comments, so I can't speak to it.
Okay.
Come on. Everybody's heard about this. Everybody's heard about Dianne Feinstein. We were lied to about her condition. It's a terrible thing that she's going through. but she should be relieved of her duty. The lady, I'm not trying to make fun. Please don't feel like I'm cracking a joke here, but she looks like she's being chauffeured out on a gurney, you guys. She's going through some serious illness right now. I think it's like scurvy or something like that. I can't remember what the heck it is, but I mean, I don't know what it is with Democrats chauffeuring out people that are basically vegetables. I mean, look at the president, not to hound that guy, but I think it speaks for itself. Look at Dianne Feinstein. It speaks for itself. Hillary Clinton was like being carried into a van when she was running for president. I mean, age is an issue, and that's what they're bringing up here. Should age be an issue with Joe Biden and others? They're so old. Trump's old, but at least this is working. Trump is sharp. The guy's still running a business. Joe Biden's hitting golf ball backwards, you guys. He's falling up a flight of stairs. He almost fell down a flight of stairs. I mean, you could name thing after thing after thing, but she's going to pretend, well, I don't know what those are. Come on, yeah, you do. Yeah, everybody does. Everybody sees it.
Moving on. CNN poll shows 60% of Americans are looking for or would support cuts to spending along with raising the debt limit. Have you seen that polling, and what do you make of that?
So look, this is what I believe Americans understand. They understand that they want to make sure that the government, that we are working for them, right? We're working on making sure that millions of jobs don't get lost, that we protect their retirement accounts, that we make sure that we don't lose the gains that we've made in the last 2 years as far as manufacturing jobs, as far as...
Question for the comment section, folks. It does support the channel, but I'm also really curious. Do you feel like they're working for you? Or do you feel like they're working for China and other countries? I think I know what you're going to say, folks. I think I know what you're going to say. The Biden administration out there doing Lord knows what. He's probably sleeping, folks. He's Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Crooked Joe. Not doing anything for the American taxpayer other than spending our money, giving it to Zelensky, of all people. Maybe giving some to Putin. Remember that witch hunt? The Putin witch hunt. They found nothing. The Mueller case, nothing. The Durham report, nothing. But what are they doing, folks? Oh, they're giving Joe Biden a free pass. Hunter Biden's snorting cocaine off a dog's back, eating Cheez-Its off the rug. Lord only knows, but nothing, folks. Nothing's going to happen there. They're spending our money. They're running our country into the ground bigly. All right, you're seeing it in real time right now. So it's going to be thing after thing, folks. They're not running the country. They don't care about you, the taxpayer. The poll, folks, was from fake news CNN. All right, 60% of Americans want to figure out the budget. Let's figure out the budget, folks. Let's have a huge win here for the American people, but the Biden administration, Democrats don't want to do it. No, they don't want to do it, folks. I've tried. Joe Biden's rambling, drooling. He has a drip tray. He can't figure out what the hell's going on. But, you know, folks, vote Republican. Folks, they're not working for us. Come on.
Seeing unemployment at its lowest rate, 3.4%, creating 12.7 million jobs. Those are the gains that we've made, and we understand that the Americans understand that wholeheartedly. Look, this is a president who has not taken a back seat when it comes to
I swear she almost was going to say spending there. Is not taking a back seat to spending your money. I'm going to rewind it. I swear she almost said that, right? Let's go back. We're going to go back. Listen carefully. You'll hear the S come out.
Who has not taken a back seat when it comes to deficit reduction.
What do you say? They just got done spending trillions of dollars to the American Rescue Plan. Yeah, you ain't taking a back seat, that's for damn sure. The man's in the driver's seat right now. He's literally... I can't even talk because it's so insane. The man's literally giving like money everywhere and anywhere. Like billions of dollars left and right to Ukraine, to China. He's giving our oil reserve to China. Like, don't give me this whole thing while he's taking a back seat. No, come on.
$1.7 trillion that he's been able to cut the deficit by in the first 2 years. That is a historic record. You put that on top of the $3 trillion over the last 10 years in that budget that he put out on March 9th. This is a president who understands how important it is to cut spending. That's why he also talked about wasteful spending, right, that we're seeing, those subsidies that we are seeing that big oil and big pharma get, and making sure that we get rid of those subsidies. And so he understands what the American people are looking for. They made that very clear. They've made that very clear in the last election. And so that's what the president's going to continue to focus on.
She's still in the last election, you guys. She's probably still in 2016 with Hillary Clinton or whoever the hell's. Look, you can't say that you're given a poll by CNN, by the way, a left-leaning outlet. So congrats and great job to Jackie for polling that one, because she can't say anything about, it's the Republicans, it's the Rasmussen poll, it tends to lean right. You can't say that when Republicans, Democrats combined are saying, look, 60% of us say, hey, we got to figure out the budget. But then you're saying on your end, as the Democrat side of the aisle, the president of the United States, as the mouthpiece of the leader of the free world here, going, well, where there's no conditions. We just think it should be increased. But we're negotiating in good faith. Oh, by the way, screw those Republicans, those bigots. Like, it's so insane. It's so insane. And where's anybody in that room calling around for this stuff? I mean, we had a couple, and they modest job. But nonetheless, it needs to be a little bit more harsh.
Treasury started reaching out to federal agencies to see if they can slide any payments in early June, which would effectively allow Treasury Secretary to push back the X date by more time. Has the White House at all been coordinating with Treasury on that? Is that something the White House want to see, that date?
I haven't even seen this clip. I guarantee you she's going to say no. And I want to give you my reasoning for this. She pretends like she talks to everybody. I've sat there and I've tried to theorize, like, okay, what's going on with this woman? Meeting Karine Jean-Pierre, how is she not able to answer any questions? Like, why does she need, like, the look out of her binder so much? You guys, Joe Biden isn't up here. I think this lady is running blind. I don't think she has a clue what's going on. I don't think she actually talks to Joe Biden all that much. I think she's winging it. I think she's pulling a lot of this stuff out of her, you know what? Because Joe Biden ain't around. She got to talk to that guy. Folks, his schedule is jam-packed. I'll give him that. But it's jam-packed between, like, 4 hours of the day. Other than that, he's sleeping. You ain't going to get that guy. You ain't going to wake him up. Look, he can't even have a phone call with Kevin McCarthy. There's a reason why they're holding negotiations at the White House. Somebody asked that question. She's like, I wouldn't read into it. No, we're going to read into it. Joe Biden can't go down the street. Are you kidding me? Joe Biden, he needs to be in the White House, okay? Because that's where his bed's at. That's where the microwave is to heat up his milk.
We're not coordinating with the Treasury Department. That is for their decision to make.
Last one. Kevin McCarthy's had dozens of gaggles and press conferences about this. Is that at all instructive to the president, who has been somewhat media shy, in terms of controlling the narrative here around this?
I feel strongly by saying this. The president is certainly not media shy. He would disagree with.
What? Oh my God! What? The guy doesn't take any questions. He has yet to stand on that even podium since he's been president. Don't give me this whole thing of like, well, he's not shy from the media. And he falls asleep during interviews. Like, give me a freaking break. The interviews that he has conducted, which you can pretty much conduct on one freaking hand here. Give me a break. Give me a break, Karine. Stop it.
That characterization of him, he has been talking about. He spoke to this on Monday. He spoke to this on Sunday when he was in Japan. And the president has been very clear where he stands on what Congress should be doing, which is dealing with the debt limit, something that is their constitutional duty. He's been very clear by speaking through his budget that he put out on March 9th on what he sees the value of this country, how he sees moving forward with the economy, an economy that he helped put back on his feet by the successes that we have seen as far as 12.7 million jobs, low unemployment rate at 3.4%, manufacturing boom, and that's all happened under this president because of the economic policy that he's had. Folks, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's the clown show, folks. Look at all of them. Look at all the reporters going, what the hell was that? Oh yeah, no, oh yeah. He sits there and he's just out there to take everybody's questions. He made a joke at the White House Correspondents' Dinner about not taking their questions. He was mocking them in their face during that. Jackie was completely 100% correct. He's just sitting there and blowing everybody off. And it's not doing favors for the guy because Kevin McCarthy's been out there almost like every day saying, yeah, we're not close. The guy's sleeping. He's not even showing up. We actually don't know where Joe's at. Joe doesn't even know where he's at. So we're nowhere near an actual deal here. And that's echoed by the White House again, because they don't want any conditions, because it's 78 times, and that rationale works out perfectly. Oh, well, we've done a stupid thing 78 times. Well, let's do it 79 times. Let's just continue to be idiots with our money. That's a real smart thing to do. So that's the Democrat thinking for you. And, some Republicans as well. There's no longer fiscal conservatives anymore. What happened to them? I have no idea, because I'm still a fiscal conservative. I want to figure out the budget. I want to figure things out. So you know what? Our grandkids or ourselves, Lord only knows when we're going to have to pay this bad boy off or start paying it down, are going to have to inherit this, because we wanted to be idiots with our money. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think we're going to figure this out? Do you think we're going to figure out like the next, 5 days, 6 days, however long we have? I look forward to reading your responses, folks. Grab yourself a signed copy on baldbrad.com. We have signed copies. A little bit pricey. Folks, shipping alone, it says you're paying $8. I'm going to be paying like $10 to $15 on my end for shipping. So please don't feel like I'm trying to like break the bank on this. I want to give you guys signed copies. I want to make the money that I would just by if I sold on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles to all of you guys. So just want to give a little bit of transparency of, just because it's paid $8, but priority mail is anywhere from $10 to $15. Or even more if you're going out of the country. So please don't feel like I'm trying to nickel and dime you. It is a signed copy. They will be out to you. I ordered some boxes and stuff like that. Neil and others. I got your emails. We got the orders. So grab yourself that. Check out the shop. The shop's actually linked to our YouTube account now as well. So you can go on Teespring, baldbrad.com, or YouTube. We got everything everywhere. Check out our audio too. We convert this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're freaking everywhere. So check that out. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. And folks, you're phenomenal people. I love hanging out with you. I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.